want to say hi to all the people? Oh, hi everyone. Ooh, I know I'm wearing velvet in the summer. I don't know what's going on with me. I don't know. I just felt like it. Isn't it pretty color? Let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Hi everyone. It's me, Jess. I'm coming at you today with a book haul. Midsummer book haul. Check-in? No. Video. Yeah. Fifi, you want to say hi to all the people? Do you guys want to see my dog? Oh, hi everyone. My name's Fifi. Can you say hello? Hello, people! Hello! Do, 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 do. She doesn't mind. Don't worry. It's not animal abuse. She doesn't mind. Do you? You don't mind, do you? You love it. You love the spotlight. Don't ya? Oh, buddy. Are you hot? Is it a hot day? Is it a hot day, Fifi? Are you hot? Are you hot, Wiffy girl? Oh my gosh, don't. You don't want to have a recording of me talking to my dog, my baby dog baby voice. You want to hear me talk about books, I think. All right, so let's get to the books. I scored in such a serious way at the book box. Oh, wait a second. I have to get my other score because I found 2 amazing books at the book box. When I found this in the book box, I kind of couldn't believe it. I was like, really? Wow. Score. So I actually scored 2 great books in the book box. The first is, yes, it's hardcover. Yes, it's big. But you know what? Look at this copy in the book box for free. Honestly, like, look at that. It's got some muckiness there, but it's got the actual paper sleeve on it, on the original cover. Guys, I'm so excited. So this is 1Q84, which is Murakami's... This isn't here. Murakami's answer to 1984. Somebody tell me, because that's what I had heard. It says a love story, a mystery, a fantasy, a novel, a self-discovery, a dystopia to rival George Orwell's. IQ84 is Murakami's most ambitious undertaking yet, an instant bestseller in his native Japan, and a tremendous feat of imagination from one of our most revered contemporary writers. Yay! And I got it at the book box. No, I mean, I do buy a lot of books, so. But I did score. That was a huge score. So this is my book haul, starting with my big ambitious read for, I guess, the fall. Probably going to be for the fall. And who knew? It wasn't even like, yeah, okay, I knew it was an important book, and I've only read one other Murakami. I think it was the Bird Chronicles or something. Bird Chronicles. So that was a big deal that I found that in the book box. And I actually have a friend who just finished reading it. She hasn't really said anything about it yet, but I saw on her Instagram that she had just finished reading it. So, yay! And the other big find for me was this copy. Well, I mean, I don't care about the copy so much, but it's a nice enough copy of Thérèse Raquin, which is a translation from French, but I've been told by a reputable source that this book is really, really, really wonderful. And it's so cute. I love when you find books in the book box that has people's notes. It'll be fun to read what they highlighted and what their notes were. I think they only highlighted the preface, and then the rest of the book doesn't look like the rest of the book got the same kind of love. But I'm looking forward to reading this one. And, check those book boxes, and don't be afraid to put some stuff in the book boxes, because once you're finished, you can pass it along, and it's really nice. We regularly take our books to the book boxes. And yeah, so those are my finds from the book boxes over the past couple of weeks where I've mostly been taking books to the book boxes because we've been clearing out my dad's apartment, who was a big book collector, and so we've been clearing out a lot of books from his apartment and taking most of that stuff to the book boxes. But you know, you never know what you're gonna find, so that's pretty exciting. Just that alone is very exciting. But I still have like a tremendous pile here of other books. I don't even have all of them here because honestly, I'm such a book, I don't want to say whore, that's not a very attractive word. I'm such a book hoarder, such a, I'm not a collector, a book, I'm always going on book sprees. Somebody tell me what the heck I am here. Those are the two that I got at the book box. And then I also got very lucky at one of our used bookstores in Montreal called The Word, which I visited in another book haul video that you can find here. And I had read earlier this year, before reading The Vanishing Half, I read The Passing by Nella Larsen, because I had heard that The Vanishing Half was inspired by Passing, and I loved it. It was so good. You can see my wrap up that includes The Passing here, and yeah, it's always on this side. So you can see that wrap up. And so I wanted to read some more Nella Larsen, and lo and behold, while I was at The Word, we found this one, Quicksand. It's going to be the second Nella Larsen, and I just know that it's going to be amazing because Passing was so great. She's such a good writer, and it's nice. Her books are short and sweet, about 130 pages. And this is also a book about race, and particularly a book that includes the experience of being of mixed race. So that's going to be, I don't want to read the whole back of it, but I think it's going to be a very interesting read. So I was super pleased that I found this. I don't know how hard it is to find her works. In the bookstores that I go to, I don't see very much Nella Larsen. So I was pretty happy to have found that, actually. I'm sure if you go online, you can find pretty much anything and order it, but it's always really something special when you go into a bookstore and then you find a book by an author that, you know, you're coming across and I knew with this one too, like I knew that if I didn't pick it up, I knew that if I didn't snag it, somebody else was going to pick it up for sure. So those are my treasures. And, you know, at the end of the day, I got all those treasures. I don't remember how much I paid for this. $8.50 for the other two were free in the book box. So, you know, reading is not expensive, and it gives you so much. It's so rewarding. Okay. So, but then I compensated for that by going and spending quite a little bit of money at my favorite independent bookstores. So the two independent bookstores that I really like to promote on my channel are two Montreal bookstores that I visit very regularly, especially in my neighborhood. I live in the Plateau, and in my neighborhood there's this really wonderful English bookstore owned by this really wonderful gem of a woman named Ode, who I just adore, and her book is called Distill, and so I'll start off with the books that I picked up at Distill, and then I'll talk about the books that I picked up at the other independent bookstore. So I went to Distill a couple of times, actually, in the last couple of months, and I haven't really talked about what I picked up there. So, and another one was a gift, but I know that it was purchased at Distill. So I kind of went on two trips to Distill. Oh, and I don't even have all of them. What else did I get this time? I've forgotten. Oh, that's because I just finished reading them. Okay, so a couple of the books that I got at Distill are going to be in my reading wrap up. Do you want me to talk about them? I'll talk about them as well. Just hang on a sec. I mean, these are two books that I'm going to end up talking about in my wrap up for July because I read them so fast. But I went into Distill and I was like, oh, you know, it's summertime. I'd really like to read a thriller. Do you have anything you could recommend to me? And Ode recommended to me this book, which I finished very quickly, called 3 by D.A. Mishani, an Israeli writer. This was a thriller, mystery thriller, and it was excellent. Really, really good. But I'm not going to say too much about it more than that. When was it written? 2018. I don't know. It's really, really good. It's really creepy. It's about a man who kills a couple of women. 3, in fact. And that's all I'm going to say. And then she also recommended to me In the Miso Soup, which I actually just finished like half an hour ago, which was more gory and horror. It's about a serial killer and in the Tokyo sex club, nightclub scene. And it was pretty gruesome, I will say, but I'm not going to say more than that. Yeah, so those were the 2 that she had recommended to me, and yes, they were pretty great recommendations. I find her recommendations are really good. Whenever I go in there, she makes really good recommendations. So if you live in Montreal, I would absolutely recommend that you go and visit her in her store. She will always have something for you. In addition to those, I picked up How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House. I wasn't initially going to pick this book up, but I've seen a couple of different recommended reviews on YouTube by booktubers who've gone ahead and read all of the books that were longlisted for the Women's Prize. And then, shortlisted. Some of them read all of the ones that were longlisted, and some of them read all of the ones that were shortlisted. And a couple of people spoke very highly of How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House. I don't know very much about it. I know that it's a Caribbean. It's set in the Caribbean. I think it's set in Bermuda. Barbados, my mistake. And I don't really know much more about it than that. I think a murder takes place, and that's all I know. So very much looking forward to reading this one. At the moment, I'm reading Burnt Sugar and Detransition Baby. So this will add another 2. And they have announced that they're they've said that they're going to extend till September, the day that they announce the winner of the Women's Prize for Fiction. So it's giving me an opportunity to read a couple more of the books. I don't think I'll get to Piranesi. I don't know why. Piranesi just doesn't sound like it's my cup of tea. But I did want to get to that one. So I picked that one up at Distill. And in that same trip, I also picked up Libertie, which I really wanted to read because I had heard about it through a couple of different YouTubers. This is a historical fiction, and it's about coming of age as a freeborn Black girl in Reconstruction era Brooklyn. Sounds so good. Libertie Sampson is all too aware that her purposeful mother, a practicing physician, has a vision for their future together. Okay, I'm not going to read anymore. I really want to read this book. I've heard many good things about it, and I think it'll be a really interesting read. This is the thing about doing a book haul, is that, when you pick up books, you don't have much to say about them, except that that they've been, critically acclaimed, or they're on a prize list, or they've been recommended by other people on their booktube channels. And I personally am into the story on the covers, on the sleeves of the covers, because I don't want to learn too much about the book before I read it. So I don't want it to be spoiled. And then the book that I was given as a gift, I don't know, I guess at the time Ode realized or thought that I was into some dark stuff. So I think this is a true crime. I think the person who gave me this gift knows that I do like good true crime. So this is called Stolen. And as you can see from the byline, 5 free boys kidnapped into slavery and their astonishing odyssey home. So yeah, I think that'll be really good. It might be very disturbing. But I'm sure it'll be really interesting, and I'm sure I'm going to learn something from reading this book. So it says, Philadelphia, 1825. A gripping true story about 5 boys kidnapped in the North and smuggled into slavery in the Deep South, and their daring attempt to escape and bring their captors to justice. Woohoo! This sounds amazing, actually. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one as well. Richard Bell is the name of the writer. So that was the gift that I was given from Distill. And then I went back to Distill yesterday, and I mean, I was just stopping by to say hi. This is the problem with having a bookshop in your neighborhood. I was just stopping by to say hi, and I ended up leaving with 4 books. So, but I'm so excited to read these. So after having been through kind of like a period of reading about like very dark kind of content and dark material, I've been leaning a little bit more into lighter, more fun reads. So this will be reflected for sure in the books that I picked up. So the first one I picked up was Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I hope I pronounced that correctly. This I had also seen discussed on a couple of different booktubers channels. And the idea behind this book is really fantastical. It's one where it's a coffee shop where all I know about it is that people come to the coffee shop and they are allowed to either visit past lives or live lives they've wished for, but they have to do it within the time frame of the length of time for a cup of coffee to get cold, or for them to drink a cup of coffee, or something like that. So yeah, I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to read the inside cover because that is enough for me to be curious, and it sounds fun and whimsical, and I think it's supposed to be a fun book. So I'm looking forward to reading that this summer. And then this one by Quan, We Ride Upon Sticks. I had heard about this from, whose channel did I hear about this from? I think Books and Lala a while ago, and it just sounded really fun. It's like an all girls, I don't know what kind of sport they're playing, but they're on some kind of a sports team, and there's some kind of magical element to it, like sorcery, or I think it's set in Salem or something like that. Like one of the characters is a descendant of a witch, or an accused witch who lived in Salem, and they're, I don't know, they have some kind of magical powers, and that's what they rely on to win their games. I don't know what kind of games it is. I guess I should know. I don't know. I'm going to find out, though. This sounded super fun, and I thought she highly recommended it. She really enjoyed reading it, and I wanted to give it a go. So, We Ride Upon Sticks. I will report back to you about that one. And then kind of along the same lines of like a little bit of magical, kind of wanting to read a bit of magical, whimsical kind of stuff, I picked up Parakeet by Marie-Helene Bertino, which is about, I think, a woman who talks to the ghost of her mother. I'm not sure what the bird has to do with it, but I guess the parakeet is a reference to, I don't know what it's a reference to. I guess I'm going to find out. It says long listed for the ALA Andrew Carnegie Medal for Excellence and the Joyce Carol Oates Prize. Someone also spoke about this on their channel, but I cannot remember who it was, and I was intrigued. Darkly comic and vulnerable in truth. Sounds good to me. Yeah, I never know what to say on these book haul videos. Oh, and I heard about this book as well on someone else's channel, The Comeback by Ella Berman. This is a bit of a murder mystery, I think, about a woman who goes to Hollywood and becomes friends with someone, like going on an audition, and then that person disappears. And that's the premise of the book. And then from there, I don't know if she's trying to piece together what happened to this person or what happens to her subsequently, but it sounded good to me. I always love reading a book set in Hollywood. So glamorous. And the cover is kind of cool. It's like it's giving me summer feels because of the water on the cover. So I picked that one up too. I kind of went a little bit crazy. I mean, on the one hand, it's really hard for me to resist because Ode is there and she's very good at like making recommendations. And then on the other hand, and she makes really good selections. And then on the other hand, I also want to support local independent bookstores. So, and I never think it's a waste of money, obviously, to buy a book. I mean, for example, Before the Coffee Gets Cold, which I picked up, this is such a nice hardcover. And sometimes I don't like to buy a hardcover, but I was like, I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to read it. And then I'm going to give it away as a gift to somebody. I'm going to give it to somebody as a gift. So somebody out there is going to get this as a gift for their birthday or Christmas or whatever. Someone maybe in my family, somebody maybe a friend, somebody maybe a colleague, who knows? But, it's never bad to get a gift that is a book, right? So I'll have to try really hard not to muck up those pages. Coming home from I don't remember why we ended up going to Paragraph. The other book that I like to go shopping at is Paragraph, which is close to McGill College, and it's another independent bookstore, and I like to support them as well, and they tend to have really nice selections and nice editions. I went by there and ended up doing a bit of shopping. I also wanted to read, haven't read Homegoing yet, which is kind of weird that I picked up Transcendent Kingdom by Gyasi. I just know this has had so much buzz because of the Women's Prize, but I really want to read Homegoing first, but then I kind of want to read this before they make the announcement about who wins, so I'm a little confused about whether I can really pull off both of them. Anyway, let me know in the comments below if you've read any Gyasi and if you have a recommendation about whether, I know Homegoing is really, really great, and a lot of people who read Homegoing think it's better than Transcendent Kingdom. So I'm just not sure what I'll start with, but I did want to pick it up because it did finally come out in paperback. And despite the fact that I will buy hardcover books, I like to buy mostly paperback books. Just because of the bulk of them, they're less bulky and they're easier to store and they're easier to keep. And I think I've mentioned on this channel before that I find that hardcover books, particularly now, the way that they're made very cheaply. And they do the spines, when you break the spines, the pages tend to come out. So I have an issue with that. And I find that the paperbacks are made just way more sturdy. So on the theme of the Women's Prize, I also finally picked up Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. This was the winner of the Women's Prize last year, and people have ranted and raved about it. It's supposed to be about, it is about the family, Shakespeare's family, and that's really all I know about it, and that it's very, very good and that people really love it. And I've been thinking about picking it up for a while now, and I finally have a copy in hand. I prefer this copy. I know I didn't buy it at Distill. This is being a little bit picky, I think, on my part, but I really like this copy much better. There was another copy out here in Canada, and it was, I don't know why publishers do this, but I think it was called like Judith and Hamnet or something, and it had a different cover. So I don't know. It just was like, oh, and Ode was like, oh, that's Hamnet. And I was like, oh, that's so weird. Why wouldn't they just call it Hamnet? Anyway, so I'm not really sure what the motivation was behind that, but I'm actually happy that I picked up this copy at Paragraph. And I am about to start this one, which I also picked up at Paragraph, Leave the World Behind. I've heard that this is really creepy and a bit odd, and I know that I know the storyline because I've seen it reviewed. I think I saw it on Emma's channel on Drinking by My Shelf when she did, I think she did a reading vlog for it, and she really liked it. But yeah, so I don't know if it's sort of dystopian or if it's another one of these pandemic ones. But yeah, suspenseful and provocative. I am about to start it, so I will be talking about this, I think. Probably make it part of my August TBR. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it in July. We'll see. How long is it? Oh, it's only 230 pages. Maybe I will be finishing it for July. We shall see. We shall see. Leave the World Behind. And it's funny because I actually didn't think they had this book when I was looking for it on the shelves. It's so interesting, the different covers. This cover is so completely different from the cover that is shown from the British YouTubers that I've watched who've talked about this book. Like, it's completely different. The colors are completely different. Like, for the British version, they're all pink. And this is very, very dark. And I love this cover. I think it's pretty stellar. The other two books I'm going to talk about, this one by Brandon Taylor, Real Life, I had heard reviewed on whose channel? Supposedly Fun, I think, talked about this. I've forgotten his name. He talked about this book, and he said that it made him feel really uncomfortable, and that reading it was really uncomfortable. It's about race, and it's about the experience of a Black man. And I really want to read it. I really do want to read more. I just finished reading Such a Fun Age, which I will talk about in my wrap-up. I really want to read more about the experience of people of color, about people's experiences who don't look like me, don't talk like me, haven't lived their lives in the way that I have, so that I can have a better understanding of their experiences. Like, I really want to improve. I really have work to do. We all have work to do, but I'm trying to do my work as well. So I think this will be really good for me to read, and if it made him feel uncomfortable, I'm sure it'll make me feel uncomfortable, and that's a very good thing. I hope I do feel uncomfortable, and I hope it causes me to reflect a little bit. I hope it doesn't make me feel too sad, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you know, obviously, if someone's describing painful experiences that they've had, and I want to understand what their life is like, then I need to open myself up to that. So I look forward to reading that. And then I was really hoping to read more suspense and more thriller, and I was walking around the bookstore and I saw a new book being promoted by this author. This author is Catherine Steadman, who I'm not familiar with. And I saw a new book being promoted of hers that I guess must have just come out. Sorry, I've forgotten the title of it. Maybe I'll research it and include it in the video. Whatever the new book was. And instead of buying the new book, I decided, one of the reviewers on one of the blurbs on the book was saying, she has two other books that are just amazing, and you start with one and then you go to the next and you're addicted. And I was like, I better start at the beginning. So I'm hoping to have found a new author here with something in the water. I don't know anything about it. Just that this author could be a new thriller mystery author that I may enjoy. So that about wraps her up. That's everything for today. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, maybe go ahead and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. And if you like this video, all that jazz, share whatever you want to do. And definitely write in the comments below if you've read any of these books, if you've heard of these books before. And yeah, if you have any other suggestions for me. I think my plate is pretty full, but I'm always open to suggestions. And yeah, bye for now. Bye. Those are the two that I got in the, whoa, shaky dicky. Want to say hello? Come here. Come say hi. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Oh, hi, everyone. My name's Fifi. Oh, hi, Fifi. Oh, hi, Fifi. Okay, that was weird. I'll pick her.